Did you really think this wasn't going to happen? Did you really think Luka Doncic was not still that guy?
Doncic, long three-pointer, that's good. Doncic, step back three, it's good! Doncic, sidestep three-pointer is good! Luka Doncic's fourth three-pointer.
Yeah, after a slow start to his career for the Lakers, Luka just reminded the entire world why the Mavericks were foolish to trade him, why it was insane to trade a 25-year-old superstar, a generational talent, and one of the best offensive players we have ever seen in the prime of his career. Because after losing 8 straight games to the Nuggets, and with Denver on a 9-game winning streak, at home, the odds were stacked against LA. But things are different when you have Luka Doncic on your team, who dominated, going off for 32 points, 10 boards, 7 assists, and 4 steals. And it was the first quarter which set the tone, with Luka going off for 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, showcasing what can happen when you have Luka Doncic on your team. And after he started the game by getting an easy bucket, courtesy of Austin Reeves' dribble penetration, it didn't take Luka long to then start showing off the full bag. Here in transition, just pulling from about 30 feet in the face of Russell Westbrook, before a couple of minutes later another deep 3 in the face of Christian Brown. And then with a couple more easy buckets and some trips to the line, all of a sudden Luka was halfway to 30 points and the Lakers had accumulated a serious lead on an elite team. And it's almost like all of those people who thought Luka was ruined, or that LeBron James had ruined Luka Doncic, were wrong. And not only were they wrong about Luka's individual play, but also about the chemistry between LeBron and Luka, because we saw not 1, not 2, 3 occasions of Luka finding LeBron for a bucket.
Murray's had 7 threes in each of his last 2 games. Oh, what a pass! Racing up the floor, alley-oop to James!
And this is what you get with Luka. Obviously the points stand out, with him averaging 34 points per game last year, with him averaging the 2nd most points per game in playoff history, but he will always bring the playmaking. He will always make passes that no one else in NBA history is capable of making, and he will dissect defenses on a regular basis. Just like here where 2 men go to him off the screen from Hayes, and it's his ability to deceive the help defense with his eyes, rifling the pass into Hayes. Not only that, but the advantage of being 6'7" and being able to get the pass over the top at that speed is what separates him from smaller guards. And it was almost a carbon copy just a minute later, finding Hayes again in a similar spot. And I mentioned the chemistry between these two just before, but can we talk about LeBron James for a second? Because the reason this team is a threat to win a championship is because right now, LeBron is playing like a top 5 player in the world. Wait, just pause for a second. He is 40 years old, and I can genuinely say he is playing like one of the 5 best basketball players on earth. And now you have him alongside a guy who has been one of the 3 best basketball players on earth pretty much since his 2nd year in the league. This team isn't perfect, and there is a reason they wanted to trade for Mark Williams, because they need a center, but they also have LeBron James and Luka Doncic, and in any given playoff series, either of those guys could be the best player on the floor. Potentially both of them could be the best and 2nd best players on the floor. And when you have that kind of top-end talent, there is always a chance for you to win, as we just saw in the game against Denver. Now, getting back to Luka, this is a sign of things to come. It's crazy to think, but if Luka had a game like this last year, his averages would have gone down across the board. Yes, that's the kind of player the Lakers have traded for, and this is the kind of player we are about to see going forward. Because everyone needs to remember, prior to this game, it was 3 games in which Luka had played. It's not just moving to a different city and a different team with different coaches and different players, and even a different court, but he was also coming back from an injury. Even at the best of times, it can take players some time to find their form again after an injury, let alone when you have to deal with moving places, not to mention the mental toll. This was a place place he loved, a place he trusted, and they effectively backstabbed him. I know it sounds kind of dramatic, but that's the reality of the situation. The mental toll also affects his on-court performance. I mean, for all the people that were shocked just as fans, can you imagine actually being Luka Doncic himself? But now that he's had some time to digest that over the All-Star break and looks healthy again, we can expect to see the best of Luka again. And with the way LeBron is playing, the NBA should be very, very worried. But the NBA should be even more worried because of one reason: the Lakers' defense. After trading for Luka, the biggest question mark over this team wasn't the offense. Even the biggest morons could realize that Luka and LeBron would be at the very least a good offense. But there were, and still are, legitimate question marks over their defense. And it's still early, but what they did against one of the best offenses, and more importantly, the best player in the league, needs to be noted. If you were to look at the stat sheet from this game, you might wonder why Nikola Jokic not only had 12 points, but only attempted 7 field goals. Well, this wasn't because Jokic just decided he didn't want to shoot the ball, but he was unable to do on a lot of possessions, with Dorian Finney-Smith doing a great job at fronting him, preventing him from getting the ball in the post, and then when he did get the ball in the post, the Lakers would quickly collapse on him, allowing any single player not named Jokic to try and beat them. And that's a recipe that has worked in the past. We saw it with the T-Wolves in the playoffs, and it worked for the Lakers on this occasion as well. Obviously, they have lost Anthony Davis, but you have the likes of Finney-Smith, Vanderbilt, Rui, who all provide some size, energy, and athleticism on defense to make life difficult for even the best of players. And you have to give credit to JJ Redick as well. So many people questioned the Lakers giving the job to him, but as of right now, it looks like he's doing an incredible job, and he did a fantastic job at restricting the 3-time MVP on this occasion. And if we want to talk about defense, you have to give Luka some credit as well, because everyone loves to highlight when he struggles on defense, like they did against the Hornets, with practically every single person highlighting every single defensive mistake he made in that one game. Well, in this game, he was a +20, second for the game in plus-minus alongside Dorian Finney-Smith, and alongside his elite offense, he finished with 4 steals. Look at him here where he's initially guarding Russ in the corner. Once he sees Murray get that head of steam, he helps off Russ and does a good job at using his size to go vertical, forcing the turnover from Murray. Or how about the quickness to read Gordon's no-look pass here in transition, picking it off and instantaneously finding Bron streaking down the other end for the bucket. Or how about this time again with terrific anticipation, picking off Jokic, who is trying to find Brown before going down the other end for the bucket. This is what you get with Luka defensively. He's not going to be the best defender on the planet, but if you have guys who will compete around him, Luka will use his IQ and size to make plays on that end as well. And Luka is aware of the narrative around his defense, so he's always willing to crack a joke in that regard, with him joking to JJ about mentioning his defense following the game. It's only 4 games into the Luka Doncic era in LA, but if this is a sign of things to come, this is a team that everyone in the league should be worried about. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, dropping a like on the video would be cool. Most importantly, have a good day. Bye.